Welcome back, good students. Today we're going into the topic how to solve exponential equations. Now, exponential, if you look at this word, you see it has the word exponent in it right over here. And that's because an exponential equation is an equation that looks like these. You see how the exponent has a variable in each of these examples? So I'm going to go through today 5 examples ranging from very easy to moderately challenging. And each one, you're going to solve the equation. So each problem is going to say solve. In each problem, we're going to get the answer to the variable. Now, if you look at the first one, take a look, and I bet you know the answer just by looking at it. You know the answer? N has to be 3. Because any other number here, this wouldn't make sense. If you put a 2 here, 2 squared is 4. And this is 2 to the third, which is 8. That's not going to be equal. Any other number except 3 would work. So as soon as you look at it and you see the bases are the same, you know the exponents have to be the same. Otherwise, this wouldn't be equal. So n equals 3. Very easy. Okay? But you're not going to get problems that easy. They're going to get a little progressively harder. So let's go to the second one right over here. Now, would you know the answer to this one by just looking at it? Probably not right away, not unless you study it a little. But I'm going to show you a technique so you don't have to go through different numbers until you find the answer. Whenever the bases are the same, the exponents have to be the same. So if the two 3's are the same, the 3x and the x plus 6 have to be the same. So that's all you have to do now is take those exponents and make them equal. 3x equals x plus 6. Okay, in other words, you take out the exponents, write them as regular size numbers, and then make it equal. Okay, and once you do that, you just got to solve the equation using basic algebra, which I believe you know. Minus x cancels, minus x. You get 2x equals 6, and then you could see 2 into 6 goes 3. So here the answer is 3. Okay, so this one is pretty easy too if you do it this way. Just a tiny drop harder than the first one. Okay, now we go to the third one. If you look over here, this is a little more difficult because the bases are not the same. This one's a 5. This base is a 25. So the object is to get the bases equal. And here's a technique you could use. Take the smaller base, which is 5, multiply it by itself on the other side. So 5 by itself would be 5 times 5. Doesn't that give you 25? Okay, if it was a bigger number and it didn't give you 25, you would just multiply by another 5 and so on. Usually after a couple of them, you'll find the answer. So in this case, there's 2 5's that make 25. You write it with an exponent. 5 times 5 is 5 squared. And then you also have a 2x. We're going to separate this and put the 2x right outside. Okay, in other words, whatever is over here already, you just bring it down. Okay, this side is already a 5. Just leave it and bring it down. Okay, notice that we now have bases the same, both 5's. All we have to do is simplify this. And since there's a parentheses with an inner exponent and an outer exponent, remember one of the basic laws of exponents, you just multiply. So you bring down the base and multiply 2 times 2x, you get 4x. And here you just bring it down as is. Now, hopefully everybody knows what exponent is there. It's automatically a 1, because 5 to the 1 is the same as 5. Okay, now that we have the bases equal, the exponents are equal. So just like we did before over here, we're just going to write 1 equals 4x. In other words, if the bases are equal, you make the exponents equal. And now just solve for x. Just divide by 4. Okay, now all you have to do, since 4 doesn't go into 1, all you have to do is copy the whole thing, 1 over 4, or 1 divided by 4. So the answer for x here is 1/4. The answer here, of course, was 3, which was easy. This one was a little harder, and this one was even more advanced. Okay, now we get to one that's going to make you say, uh-oh, what do I do next? Okay, first off, the parentheses are there to keep the whole thing as a binomial. So this would be 6, and the exponent is the whole binomial, x plus 1. Here the base is 36, and the whole binomial is x minus 1. Okay, now we're going to follow the same rule. We're going to take the smaller base and multiply it on the other side. So 6 times 6 gives you 36. And that becomes 6 squared. Again, we bring this one down. Okay, on the other side, we'll leave it the way it is because it already has a 6, just like this. Okay, and now we have to simplify. Now, the only simplifying that needs to be done is right here. You're going to multiply 2 times this, times the binomial. Okay, now be careful. Don't just say 2x minus 1. That would be a mistake. You have to distribute the 2 when you multiply. It's by each part of the binomial. So 2 times x minus, and then 2 times 1. Okay, so that would be the correct exponent now. 2x minus 2 with a 6 on the base. The other one's already 6, so we'll just copy it down. And now we're all ready to do the problem. Since the bases are equal, the exponents are equal. So x plus 1 equals 2x minus 2. Okay, now this is a problem that I'm sure you've seen in high school where you get variables to one side and numbers to the other side. The quickest way to do this, if you don't want to go through negatives, is just think of minus x on both sides. Okay, that would cancel. And then you could get this number on that side. Okay, this is just one way of doing it. If you have another way that you like doing it, that's fine too. Okay, in this case, 2x minus x gives you x right away. This cancels, and 1 plus 2 is just 3. So there it is. Your answer is x equals 3. Okay, now we come to the hardest one of all. The bases are different. One is 81 and one is 27. And if you try to use what I showed you already, it doesn't seem to work. Because if you take 27 and multiply it by 27, that's not going to give you 81. 27 times 27 is a huge number in the thousands. So what you're going to do here is go back to the smaller base and break it up. Break it up into prime numbers. You could use any numbers that multiply to give you 27. In this case, it's easy. It's just 3 times 9. And then 9 is the same as 3 times 3. And then you have this 3 right here. Okay, so when we break it up, we wound up with 3 3s, 3, 3, and 3. And you got to use the same number on the other side. Since we used 3, we're going to start multiplying by 3 and see if we can get 81. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. And 27 times 3 is 81. By the way, a quick way to do this is think of the 2 3's as 9. Think of this as 9. And you probably already realize that 9 times 9 is 81. So that's another way of thinking of it. At any rate, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 3's, and here you have 3 3's. So we're going to write those numbers using an exponent. 4 3's would be 3 to the 4th power, and then you have this exponent. We're going to bring that down. X minus 1. Okay, the other side, you have 3 3's, so that's 3 to the 3rd, and you have x. Okay, we're all set. Notice we got the bases the same, so let's simplify it and solve for x. To simplify, you're going to distribute 4x minus 4 times 1, so it's 4x minus 4. This one is easy, it's just 3 times x, or 3x. And now we have the bases equal, and we're ready to make the exponents equal. So 4x minus 4 equals 3x. Okay, last thing we got to do is just solve for x. Okay, you could do it any way that you feel comfortable. For example, if you want, you could add 4 to both sides. And you'll get 4x equals 3x plus 4. And then take away 3x on both sides, of course. And then you'll get x equals 4. Okay? Now you have all the information you need to do the homework. Remember, you're solving exponential equations. Just make sure you go to the pages and you could check your answers in the back. Before you start the homework, though, you may want to do these without looking. See if you could do it and get the right answer. If you make any mistakes, you'll learn by it, and then you'll be all ready for the homework. Okay, have fun with the homework. Until next time, over and out.